In Google Analytics, you have the ability to get some demographic and interest data about your users. What we're doing in this section is I'm showing you how to set it up and what data you're looking at in your account. So here we're on a book blog, and I go into my admin area. I look at the property, which is the website I want to enable demographics and interests for. Once I'm in property, I scroll down here and I see the option to enable demographics and interest reports. So it tells me it's going to give me information about age, gender, and interest to learn a little bit more about my users. So once that's on, I click Save, and then I'm now going to have that data when I look in my reports. So I'll come back here to the reporting area, and I'm going to start here under the demographics. Now let me first note that Google reports that the demographics and interest data comes from the third-party DoubleClick cookies and from anonymous identifiers for mobile apps. So again, this is information. It's maybe isn't going to be exact because when people are using computer, more than one person might be on there. So it could be a 20-year-old male looking for information and then a 50-year-old female looking for information. So this information, all from the same machine without clearing cookies. So this data is not always going to be exact, but it still could give you something to work with if you are thinking about doing some advertising. It can at least give you a starting point. But of course, if you are advertising, you always want to check your reports to see if you're really getting the results that you desire. But again, this is just something to get you started. So I can see when I look under here, under the overview, again, I'm in Audience, Demographics, Overview, and I see the age of my visitors falls into mostly the 25 to 34 range. And it's a pretty close split of male and female, with slightly more females reading this particular site. The next thing I do is I come under here and I go to my interests and I look at the overview. So a couple things I learn here is the affinity category just shows people who have interests in these areas and also have an interest in the content on the site. So I can see the technophiles, movie lovers, so there's just some information about the type of people that are coming to the site. This one, the in market, can be helpful because if you are selling something, these are people who are in the market, or their behavior has indicated that they are in the market to make a purchase. They've been doing their research online and they're ready to buy something. So I can see this one obviously is a little different if it's employment. I'm not necessarily selling a job, so that may not be relevant to you. But if this were a site on software, relevant to software business productivity, that's good to know that this site is attracting people that are in the market for those products. So maybe that can be something to consider when you're doing an advertising campaign, that you can start to target these when you're on the Google Display Network. And then on the bottom here, over on the left, you'll see the one more option, and this is the other category. And it's just exactly what it says, is just the other categories of the types of people that are coming to the site. This one I would expect to see, again, since this is a site that's about books, that there are some people that have an interest there. And again, the reason we come back here, and again, audience, we have our overview and our interest for both demographics and interests. And if you are going to do advertising on the Google Display Network, just know that the categories here in analytics for the age, gender, and interest are the same categories that are used over in AdWords on the Google Display Network. So this is a great way for you to work with that data back and forth. But again, just remember there are going to be some limitations. It's not going to be exact. And again, it may not be something that you would want to use for an upcoming ad campaign, but know too that this is additional data that's here that can hopefully give you a little more insight about the people who are visiting your website.